welcome back for Thai coconut. It's not shrimp soup, it's going to be tofu soup, okay? And this is a pretty easy recipe. You're going to use 2 cans of this if you're making a full batch. I'm making half a batch, so I'm using 1, and I'm using 1 can of vegetable broth. Again, if you're going to do the recipe like it calls for, you're going to use 2 and 2. And so you're going to put that to simmer right now. I cut up 1 small onion, as you can see over here, and a whole thing of mushrooms. Again, if you're doing the full recipe, it's going to be a pound. So we'll go through the recipe. What it is, firm tofu. You're going to put that towards the middle part. And then again, 2 cups of coconut milk, 2 cups of water. You're going to simmer that first. Once you do that, you're going to put the onions in. It's 1 small onion diced, okay? And then I'm going to do 1 inch of ginger, 4 stalks of lemongrass, and 1 lime zested. And you're going to do that for about 10 minutes to get the flavors together. Pro tip with this recipe, you're going to want to strain it. Like, I have a really thin strainer, so you're not eating lemongrass if you're chopping it thin like I am. Then after that, you're going to add your mushrooms, and then 1/3 a cup of lime juice. You can do 1/4. It may need a little bit more. And then you're going to mix the lime juice, the brown sugar, which is 1/4 a cup, and 3 tablespoons of fish sauce. You can substitute fish sauce for Brad's coconut aminos. You're going to mix all that together, dump it in there, and then you're also going to put 1 teaspoon of red Thai curry powder, and then 1 tablespoon of green onions towards the end, and just a pinch of chili flakes, and that pretty much does it, and it is a delicious soup. Alright, here's the next part. That is coming to a simmer with the onions, okay? So I'm going to zest, and you can roll your lime. Okay, I'm going to zest that. Meanwhile, I already have a bunch of lemongrass that's already diced. You're going to do 4 stalks of that. And I'm putting the ginger in too, okay? That's at least 1 inch of ginger. I'd like to make mine spicier, so I do not care that it's extra, because I'm extra. Alright, then you're going to start to grate this. And that's going at least of 1 lime. Oh, that smells amazing. Now, this recipe actually calls for lime leaves, but since we're not bougie like that, 1 lime is going to do it. Okay, so let's recap. Gotta add the tofu. We got, technically in here I cut the recipe in half, so 1 full can of coconut milk, 1 cup of water with that. I used vegetable broth in this case. 1 onion that we have in there. All of our little lime zest. Oh, that's looking so delightful in there. 1 inch of ginger diced up. And then 4 stalks of lemongrass diced up. And the lime. That's starting to come along. We're getting there. That lime, you do not skip this part. The lime is what makes it. So, and it is starting to simmer, so we're going to put that a little bit on medium. Stir it around a bit. Like to do it right over, it makes sense. Now, some people don't want their mushrooms as cooked. I kind of like them more cooked. That's really up to you. So you can maybe add that in now if you want. You don't have to, okay? But we want these flavors to meld first before we do all that. So you're just gonna mix that in there like so. For about 10 minutes, you're gonna let those flavors marinate, okay? So then we'll get to the next step. Well, that is all still going. You want to use, if the recipe is normal, you want to use basically 1/4 a cup of brown sugar and 1/4 a cup of lime juice. And then you're going to add, again, I'm not doing fish sauce. I'm going to be doing Bragg's coconut aminos over here, 3 tablespoons of that. And I'm just eyeballing it. A little bit more because fish sauce is kind of potent. And then you want to stir that all together. So that's lime juice, brown sugar, and we're substituting fish sauce, the 3 tablespoons, for Bragg's coconut aminos. once those flavors meld, we're going to add that in there, as well as add our mushrooms and also our tofu. If you're going to use tofu, you want to use organic. I'm using extra firm in this case. This is a good source of protein. It's 130 calories for the whole, well, for a fifth of this. And then your protein is 14 grams. That's a lot of protein for one serving. You get 14 grams of protein. So again, you're wondering where your protein is coming from if you don't want to do shrimp or another form of meat in here. And again, you want to cook, if you are going to do meat, just do it separately and add it in as a last thing, okay? But we're going to add this firm tofu in a minute once all the flavors start to mix. Normally, you are going to add your Thai paste or powder towards the end. I'm actually adding it now. It's a red Thai. It's the best because I freeze mine because I don't want it to go bad. You can do the same thing with your lemongrass or ginger. You can freeze parts of it if you don't use it regularly. And I'm just breaking off enough of that to taste. Then I'm going to put that in there. So that's what you want to do. And I've used about a half of the block of the firm organic tofu because, again, I've cut the recipe down a little bit. Just added everything in there. I'm stirring it. I'm going to add probably that amount of mushrooms. Again, I don't want to add too much. I cut up actually too much for this amount. And then I'm adding the firm block of tofu in there, and I'm going to let that cook at least another 10 minutes. I want all the flavors to meld. You want to add a pinch of salt. Just a little bit. I don't add much. Okay, that's it. You don't have to add salt at all. And then again, the red chili flakes a little bit, and then they're going to do the green onions pretty much at the very end of this recipe. So just letting all the flavors marinate for a while. I'm going to turn that down to medium low, depending on your oven or top starter. This absolutely tastes delicious. Whole cooking time maybe 30 minutes, not even really. I let the flavors meld. Add a little bit more lime to mine. Again, here is the recipe. I will put it on the thing. All right, thank you.